trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Well, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Yanni Tregelis. We want to get you started with the weather on this beautiful, balmy Friday. Here's meteorologist Nick Morganelli with your forecast.
Oh, Yanni, certainly an incredible day today, and we look at our almanac and the record high 58 set back in 1909. We beat it today, 62 as of now, west wind at 17 miles per hour, and let's look at the temperatures for the month so far. We've got the record on there for today. The numbers for the whole day haven't come in yet, but it's certainly going to end up above normal, so I put a red box there for you. But the last 6 days have been above normal after that very cold start with the Arctic air that we had. And we're going to continue in this pattern. Look at this, February 10th to the 14th, much above normal in the northeastern U.S., and you'll see that in a little while on the 7-day forecast. Futurecast winds, 2 o'clock, still blowing 25 to 30, takes us into the evening, 5 o'clock. They start to get a little less gusty as far as the speed goes. 8 o'clock, we'll see just a steady breeze, I think, out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. If you have any evening plans, you'll certainly need a light jacket. Temperatures will be falling through the 40s this evening. And as we look at our satellite radar, that storm system gone now, but there's cold air pocketed in the upper levels of the atmosphere up over the Great Lakes. That's why we have a lot of stratocumulus clouds. You can see the gray there on the map. So we'll get a few of those tomorrow, but here's the futurecast as we go through the evening. 44 by 8 o'clock, and as we get to 11 o'clock, we're down near 40, so you definitely need the jacket tonight. We're near 32 to start the day Saturday, but plenty of sunshine gets us into the lower 40s. Here's your weekend in a nutshell. What a gorgeous weekend for almost mid-February. Enjoy it. We'll be back with the 7-day forecast in just about 10 minutes. Yanni?
All right, thanks, Nick. We'll be sure to check back in. Well, new at noon, Providence officially has a new top cop. Mayor Brett Smiley making the announcement this morning at City Hall. ABC6 News reporter Daniel Coates was there for the reveal.
Yanni, Colonel Perez will serve as the city's 38th police chief and the first of Latin descent, and he'll waste no time stepping into that role as it's effective immediately as of this morning. In the mayor's office this morning, Mayor Smiley described now Colonel Perez as someone who can best connect with the community and take the department to a new 21st century level. Perez served as acting chief after the departure of former Chief Hugh Clements. This decision also came after the community forum between Perez, Major Lanny, and Major LePayton Wednesday evening. Now, Smiley said the decision ultimately came down to who could have the best relationship with the residents of Providence.
This man will effectively be able to lead our department and take on that other responsibility that only the chief has, to be the face and the voice for the Providence Police Department.
Growing up in the city and standing here in front of all of you goes without saying how proud and how humble and honored I feel. Thank you.
Smiley told us that Perez is expected to choose a deputy chief next week. Stick with ABC6 on air and online for continued coverage. For now in Providence, I'm Daniel Coates, ABC6 News.
All right, thank you, Dan. And checking in now on today's headlines. First responders saving a man who fell from a cliff at Beavertail State Park. Now, this all happening at around 5 Thursday night when authorities responded to a call of a missing person. And after a search with the help of a police drone, a man in his 50s was found on an embankment. The cliff, it was too steep, so rescuers used a drone to pluck the man, the unidentified man, to safety. He was flown by helicopter to Rhode Island Hospital, where he is being treated for his injuries. And Winters Elementary School in Pawtucket will remain closed for all of next week. During that time, students will be learning virtually, and this announcement, it comes after the school was closed for this whole week after a pipe burst during the Arctic blast last weekend. This situation, it has chapped a lot of parents and teachers, considering Winters Elementary is a new school that just opened in the fall, and not to mention the school was delayed to start with issues with the alarms in its building. And a former special ed teacher at Foxborough High School has pled guilty to child porn charges. Thomas Davis pled guilty in federal court to possession and receiving child porn over the internet. In August 2021, police searched Davis's home in Mansfield and found 40 images on his laptop. He'll be sentenced on May 18th, and he's facing a maximum of 40 years in prison. And a worker with the Department of Children, Youth, and Families has been fired after being arrested for drug and weapons charges. Investigation by the FBI and Homeland Security found 2 ghost guns, a pistol, ammunition, and drug paraphernalia at the Pawtucket home of 37-year-old Jill Giordano. Until yesterday, Giordano, she worked as a director at the Whitmarsh Corporation, a child care provider licensed by the DCYF. She was in court Thursday, but did not enter a plea. And no surprise here, a new study reveals Rhode Island has the worst roads in the country. Survey using data from the U.S. Department of Transportation to determine the top 15 states with the worst roads, and it exposed New England big time, home to some of the very worst roads in the country. Connecticut ranking 7th, Massachusetts 4th, and Rhode Island 1st. DOT Director Alviti, though, questioning those results.
And unfortunately, many of them are working on old information. I think it's palpable and very evident during the last 7 years of the amount of resources and the investments that we're making here in Rhode Island in improving our roads and bridges.
And according to the report, 38% of Rhode Island roads are in poor condition, while 24% of them are in good condition. And a body pulled out of the Charles River has been identified as a 55-year-old from Cambridge. Police were called to the river on Thursday afternoon and recovered the body of Tail Asalif. The investigation is still ongoing pending autopsy results, but police say there are no signs of any trauma or violence. And turning now to world headlines and to the latest on the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The death toll now stands at more than 22,000 people, but days after the disaster, survivors are still being found in the rubble. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
As the days go on, the chances of survival in Turkey and Syria becoming slimmer, but still miracles amidst the rubble. Like this 10-day-old baby rescued after 90 hours. His mother saved too, both taken to the hospital. In Antakya, Turkey, rescuers heard survivors calling for help beneath the destruction, more than 80 hours after the quake struck. Workers calling for silence as they tried to locate the sound. Then 50-year-old Mehmet and his mother pulled from the debris. Search and rescue teams up against freezing temperatures and more than 600 aftershocks since the devastating earthquake. ABC's David Muir on the ground in Turkey.
It's impossible to imagine the work that continues for these search and rescue teams, and you can see another one of these very difficult moments, holding up a blanket where it's believed they've discovered another body in the rubble.
Nearly 100 countries sending aid.
Teams from the United States and other countries are here to help in this urgent effort, and you can see just the scale of this catastrophe.
In war-torn Syria, officials say it's been difficult to access resources. Those who survived face a nightmare of uncertainty. Struggling with the grief of losing loved ones, many are now homeless. Men, women, and children gathering around fires with nowhere to go in the freezing cold.
So far, the U.S. government has pledged $85 million in earthquake relief, and organizations like the Red Cross are trying to provide blood, clothes, and blankets in the bitter cold. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And the horrific images coming out of Turkey after that devastating earthquake touching people back here in southern New England. A Turkish business owner in Providence is now collecting donations to help with recovery efforts. Golden Crust Pizza on Douglas Ave has been collecting donations since Monday. And with millions in need of shelter and basic resources, the owner says this is the worst situation he's seen in his homeland.
It's one of the biggest disasters we ever had experienced in Turkish history. And as Turkish community, we are doing our best. We are trying our best. And then with the contribution of Rhode Islanders, and yeah, we are very happy. We are happy to be part of this beautiful state, seeing those amazing people.
And in addition to money, he is also collecting toiletries, underwear, and other clothes to send back to Turkey. Well, still to come on ABC6 News at noon, the questions top senators had for the Pentagon about the Chinese spy balloon. And later, the local pup celebrating the big game on Sunday by participating in the Puppy Bowl. Welcome back. And ABC6 is checking in on national headlines at noon and the latest on the Chinese spy balloon. Investigators concluding the balloon was in fact used for intelligence surveillance. This as lawmakers on Capitol Hill grill Pentagon officials about why it took so long to shoot down the balloon. ABC's Ika Jachi is in Washington with the latest.
The Biden administration presenting to the public the extent of China's global surveillance operation.
This is a program that has spanned 5 continents, 40 countries.
Last week, the military deployed Cold War-era U-2 spy planes to track and study the balloon before it was shot down over the Atlantic Ocean. A newly publicized State Department document says that spy balloon was equipped with multiple antennas capable of collecting communications and enormous solar panels strong enough to power multiple active intelligence collecting sensors, refuting China's claim that it was a civilian weather balloon that had strayed off course. Navy divers specialized in handling explosives continue to scour the waters off South Carolina, searching for possibly dangerous debris from that Chinese spy balloon. On Capitol Hill, Pentagon officials grilled by Democrats and Republicans about why the balloon wasn't shot down when it first crossed into U.S. airspace over Alaska.
To me, the clear message to China is we got free range in Alaska.
We potentially could have taken it down over the Aleutian Islands.
The Pentagon claims it didn't want to shoot it over land in fear of civilian casualties on the ground. They also say downing the balloon over the Aleutian Islands in Alaska could mean diving for debris in waters as deep as 18,000 feet, making recovery and salvage operations dangerous. President Biden defending the decision, saying he doesn't regret shooting it down sooner and that the spy balloon was not a major security breach.
The total amount of intelligence gathering that's going on by every country around the world is overwhelming.
The FBI is examining every single scrap recovered, but today, U.S. officials say they've made a big recovery. They believe they've located the undercarriage, where most of the surveillance equipment is housed, largely intact. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up next on ABC6 News at noon, Nick Morganelli back in the Weather Center with a full look at your 7-day forecast. Be sure to stick with us.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Nick Morganelli.
Wow, we certainly have a beautiful sunny day today. So let's track the sunshine, right? In February, March, and April, We'll go out 2 months, and here are the sunrise and sunset times. So between now and March 10th, we gain an hour and 15 minutes. And then between March 10th and April 10th, we're going to gain another hour and 27 minutes of daylight. Notice we switched to daylight savings time here. So the sunrise is about the same. Sunset's still very nice as we go ahead with the clock. Sunset jumps to 7:20 in the evening on April 10th. So that's going to be really nice. We haven't really had much of a winter so far, so we're going to talk about that. Sunny and mild weekend. Strong Monday ocean storm. That's for marine interests with surf and swell out there and some high winds. National Weather Service may issue a gale warning for the offshore waters or a small craft advisory, so we'll wait for that, for them to issue that. And the mild pattern continues right through next week, and it's snow-free again. So let's look at the snowfall. How does it compare to other years? Well, this season so far, we have 4.9 inches out of the 37 inches that we average in a winter here in Providence, Rhode Island. So there we are on the scale. And how does it compare to other winters? Well, here are a dozen years that ended up less than 50% of our seasonal snowfall average, which is where we are now. We would need another 5 inches, almost 5 inches of snow to pretty much tie the 1979-1980 lean snow year record, which is 9.7 inches. If we don't make it there, then we're going to break that record for sure. And then look at all the years here up to 18.6 inches, which is, if you double that number, you get just over 37 inches of snow. So here are a dozen years that go back to 1943. Yeah, that's the earliest year. There's a 53-54 year. So in the last 80 years or so, we've had a dozen years like this, so maybe this is another one. We'll see. Wind today, gusty out of the northwest throughout the afternoon at 25 to 30 miles per hour. It gets less gusty this evening, and then as we go into the evening hours, we'll still have breezy conditions here at 9 o'clock, still blowing at 15 to 20 early in the morning as well. And then tomorrow morning, still blowing, but not really gusty at all. It's just a breezy day on your Saturday out of the northwest. 10 to 20 miles per hour overall for the wind. Satellite and radar shows the storm system well off to the north and west. Notice the clouds back in here. This is indication of cold air above us in the atmosphere. So that cold air is generating a lot of stratocumulus clouds and a few snowflakes here. So this front continues to push off. Here's 9 o'clock tonight. We go to Saturday morning. A second front moves in just to reinforce the chill over us for tomorrow, although it's not much of a chill. High pressure in control with lighter winds by the time we get to Saturday evening. That high pressure holding in place here and protecting us from this storm that comes up off the mid-Atlantic. Powerful ocean storm, as I mentioned. This is going to track south of New England. That northern edge of the rain may get just to the south coast. That's the best chance to find showers as you head back to work on Monday from Cape Cod to Nantucket and the islands and the south coast areas of southeastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So tonight, 32, diminishing wind, a clear sky. 7-day forecast as we look into Valentine's Day, right? We've got a sunny weekend here, 50 on Sunday, windy on Monday with clouds, as that storm will bring in clouds for all of us, but the showers confined to the shoreline if we get any. So I didn't really put it in there on the 7-day forecast. Pleasant and dry, sunny Tuesday, Wednesday. And look at those temperatures. 50 Tuesday, 46 Wednesday, overnight lows in the 20s, and then 58 on Thursday. And the overnight low is pretty warm too. So we're looking pretty nice there for the 7-day forecast. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thanks, Nick. Well, a lot of 50s, not going to be complaining over here. Well, still to come on ABC6 News at noon, the local dog that you might see at the Puppy Bowl ahead of the big game on Sunday. We'll have that coming up after the break. Welcome back. Checking in now on entertainment news and the Super Bowl. And that means it's almost time for the Super Bowl halftime show. And Rihanna getting ready to work at the Super Bowl on Sunday. In a moderated discussion on Thursday about her halftime show, she didn't reveal much about what we'll see Sunday, but she did tell us that she will have representation.
Representing for immigrants, representing for my country, Barbados, representing for Black women everywhere.
Rihanna also added that the hardest part about the performance was distilling her 17-year career into just 13 minutes. Well, check this out. A rescue pup from Rhode Island will be taking the gridiron on Sunday. Joey from Vintage Pet Rescue will be playing in Puppy Bowl 19. Joey uses an adaptive wheelchair to get around, and in the Puppy Bowl, he'll be playing for Team Rough, being one of 22 puppies to take the field. The Puppy Bowl highlights work done by rescue and shelter workers across the country. And you can watch Joey face off against Team Fluff on Animal Planet. Well, stick with us. We'll be right back after the break for one last look at the forecast here on ABC6 News at noon. Warm day. Well, welcome back, and what a Friday with record-breaking temperatures hitting the 60s today. Meteorologist Nick Morganelli back to give us one last look at our forecast before we let you go.
Well, definitely a great weekend to get out. Saturday, a little bit breezy continuing, but 42 degrees, beautiful afternoon, lots of sunshine tomorrow, some fair weather cumulus clouds. Sunday is a sunny day to start. We might get some clouds in here during the evening from the ocean storm that's approaching, but 50 degrees on Sunday. And as we look ahead to Monday, it's cloudy and raw and damp with an easterly wind. And then we dry it out. We're warm throughout the middle of next week. Sunny and temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thank you, Nick. 40s and 50s in the middle of February. Sounds great to me. Well, that's going to do it for ABC6 News at Noon. The news continues with First at 4, and for news and weather anytime, abc6.com is always on. Have a great day.